well?
This is a kindergarten program. So I think kindergarten learning is a bit different. It's more integrated and a bit less like math.
Yeah.
So in up, down, all around, we try to integrate different aspects of learning into math. For example, like we try to teach them or inspire them things like this particular style of doing art that's quite well known. Like you just take textured paper, you use crayons, and then you paste things. So it's a style in art. So through the creation of art, we kind of get them to learn or review certain mathematical principles. So it's a bit different in a sense that it's more integrated, not just math. Like, okay, we do art, in the process we learn ordinal numbers, we learn shapes, we learn counting. So it's a bit of that kind of flavor where it's a bit more embedded. So sometimes it's also things like here we teach them about transportation. So even though they're learning to make number pairs, the theme of that is how do we travel in the city? We can take the train. So these are the cards people use in Singapore to take the train, or in this case the jeepney in Manila, or in this case tuk-tuk in Bangkok. So we introduce them to different common transportation in different parts of the world, Asia in particular. So it has that kind of flavor. It's not just math, it's also like in this case geography, or transportation. So like this one is on culture, it's a Japanese culture. The children are brought through a tour of a small town in Japan, and through that journey, they learn whatever they're supposed to learn. So it's a bit of integrated that way. So all kinds of things, like some common stories that they know, like Jack and the Beanstalk, but a bit twisted, but then used to learn math. So every unit it's designed like that, or like in this case, they are being inspired to use dragon fruit to make things like that, which is food. But then here they use it for counting, or like carrot you can make this, kiwi you can make this, strawberry. So it inspires them to make stuff. And young children are quite easily inspired. They do things like that. They go home, they will make it at home. So the parents will see, oh, it's quite interesting what they're learning in school nowadays. So we just try to. So this is really a collection of book which is really to help teachers have a good collection of ideas that they can use, that ranges from the things you saw. I think there are like some science concept as well sometimes, like nocturnal animals. So different stories everywhere.
How many units are there for
There are 8 books.
8 books.
And 7 and 8 is really optional. Actually, we don't want them to do it, but schools always want to overteach. They like to we must learn about addition, we must learn telling time, but actually it's not expectation. But because they are doing it, we rather they do it properly than not. So we still give them fairly good lessons that are appropriate, even though they are learning things they're not supposed to be learning. So like addition sentences is not an expectation, but if they're going to do it, hopefully they do it properly. So yeah.
And do they have to use it progressively from 1 onwards?
We arrange it in a progression, so it helps teachers. But it's really up to them, because that's the nature of young learning anyway. And they can start 1 anytime, and they can use 1 for the whole year, or 2 books in a year, 3 books in a year. It's really up to them, because it's early learning anyway. It's meant to more inspire the teachers to do interesting activities throughout the year, rather than very structured lessons. That is more like grade school than early learning. And it tried to also broaden the teacher's perspective, like different things like nocturnal animals. So it's quite high level content actually. It's not like kiddie things. So they actually learn, and these are real nocturnal animals, and they might learn the names, a bit of science. And they also learn interesting, because this is illustrated by a professional artist, and it's not some anonymous person. It's like he is an artist, right? So he also introduced interesting artistic devices. Like it tells children like, how do you present a night scene when you draw art? You can use this concept called a spotlight. Like everything is dark, then you have a spotlight to bring out the story you want to tell. So this is actually a concept in art. Like I think some of the grandmasters in the Renaissance period, they use this concept, the spotlight concept. So he, as an artist, also tried to bring in good techniques. So it's not childish things, although it's for children. It's quite high level, because nowadays I think the expectation is quite high. Like parents want kids to learn
Fast
stuff, right? It's okay, but we have to make it in a rather appropriate way. So we try to do it. So like language, like I spy with my eye a cat chasing a house mouse. So things like phonics come in, like house mouse. So they learn sounds like that, right? A frog leaping over a log. So as you can see, it's phonics coming in. So there are some language things being introduced, like they are being taught certain art, making puppets and stuff. All kinds of things. It's just a collection of different things that young children might pay attention to.
How long has it been out already?
Oh, this is quite new. It doesn't instruct them what to do. It inspire them what to do. So it's not something they have to follow. Like, oh, I have an idea. Now I can do it. So the design of the lesson is that every story is supposed to be done over 5 days. So like, let's compare sizes where they're actually making stuff. Has the first day, so we go by the caterpillar life cycle. Like first day they do this, and second day they do this art. So each day is given a suggestion. So it's meant to last like 5 days, but the materials is actually only enough. It's meant for you to do 5 days over 10 days. So some people will take more time doing one lesson, but other people may do all the lesson. Then the second week they will follow up. So maybe that lesson is about animals. Then the second week they focus on books, other books connected to the same theme. So they may read some fiction about amphibians and reptiles, but they may also read some non-fiction works connected to the animal world. So I think during the pilot, different teachers did different things. Some of them did all the lesson in 1 week. The second week they just do other books connected to the same theme. So the children get a lot of different literature connected to the theme. And other teachers just took time to go back to the lesson. For example, each lesson, like making a puppet, took them 2 days. So 1 day they focus on the non-math part, making puppets. Then the second day they focus on the math part. They use the puppet to talk about, the puppets we make can put into here and here, and they learn about number bonds.
What about the children? Were they able to enjoy the lessons?
You see, children always enjoy whatever you do with them, because they are children. They just enjoy even the simplest thing. You put a test tube in front of them, and they will enjoy just pouring water in and out of the test tube. Kids are very easily entertained, especially when they're in a group, because just being in a group itself is enjoyable for them. So they always enjoy regardless. The question is that, does that enjoyment translate into learning that nowadays parents seems to demand? So that's more important. Does it stimulate their brain?